You're driving home, headlights cutting through the dusk, your mind heavy with the weight of the day, until something or someone catches your eye. You slam the brakes. Standing on the sidewalk, soaked in silence, is a face you buried years ago. A face tied to heartbreak, and a secret that could unravel everything you thought you knew. Do you keep driving? Or turn back toward a past laced with betrayal, lost love, and one final chance at redemption? This story will grip your soul, shatter your expectations, and leave your heart racing. So if you think you're ready for a twist that changes everything, hit that subscribe button, and let's begin. The rain tapped softly against the tinted windows of Ethan's sleek black SUV as it crawled through the city's evening traffic. The air was heavy with the chill of late autumn, and Ethan, exhausted from a grueling day of boardroom battles, leaned back in the leather seat. His mind was a blur of contracts and deadlines, but something outside caught his eye, a figure standing by the roadside, holding a tattered cardboard sign. A young woman, visibly pregnant, stood shivering in a threadbare coat, her face pale and weary. Ethan's breath hitched. That face, those eyes, he knew her. "Pull over," he said sharply to his driver, his voice cutting through the hum of the engine. The car slowed, and Ethan's heart pounded as he stared harder. It was her, Eve, the woman he'd met months ago at a friend's chaotic rooftop party. That night had been a whirlwind of laughter, stolen glances, and a connection so electric it lingered in his memory, like a song he couldn't forget. Her smile had been bright, her spirit vibrant. But now, she looked like a shadow of that woman, standing alone in the cold, her shoes worn thin. Without a second thought, Ethan pushed open the door and stepped into the drizzle. The street was quiet, the world seeming to pause as he approached her. Eve didn't notice him at first, her gaze fixed on the ground, lost in her own world of survival. "Eve," he called softly. Her head snapped up, and her eyes widened in shock. For a moment, neither spoke. Her face, once full of light, was now gaunt, her lips cracked, her expression a mix of exhaustion and shame. "Ethan," she whispered, her voice trembling. "It's me," he said, stepping closer. What happened to you?" She looked away, clutching her sign tighter. "Please don't. Just go." "No," he said, his voice firm but gentle. "You're not okay. Come with me." "I'm fine," she insisted, but her shaking hands betrayed her. "You're not," Ethan said, his heart breaking at the sight of her. "Let me help you, Eve. Please." She hesitated, her eyes searching his for a trap, for pity, for anything but the kindness she saw. Finally, she nodded, barely perceptible. Ethan guided her to the car, her steps slow and heavy. Inside, she sat silently, her hands resting protectively on her swollen belly, staring out the window as the city blurred past. The drive to Ethan's upscale apartment was quiet, the kind of silence that carried 1,000 unspoken questions. He glanced at her occasionally, but she avoided his gaze, her fingers tracing circles on her stomach. When they arrived, he led her inside, the warmth of the modern, minimalist space a stark contrast to the cold street. "You can rest here," he said, showing her to a cozy guest room. "No pressure, just be comfortable." Eve sat on the edge of the bed, her shoulders slumped. Ethan returned with a tray of warm soup, bread, and a clean towel. "Eat," he urged. "Take a shower. You'll feel better." She nodded but didn't move. "Ethan," she said softly, her voice barely above a whisper. "Why are you doing this? You don't owe me anything." "Because I remember you," he said simply. "That night at the party, you made me feel alive. I can't just walk away now." Her eyes flickered with something, gratitude, maybe, or guilt. "You must think I'm pathetic," she murmured. "No," Ethan said, kneeling to meet her gaze. "I think you're a survivor." Eve's lips trembled. "I wasn't always like this. After that night, everything fell apart. My sister got sick, I lost my job, my home. I tried to keep going, but her voice broke. I didn't want to be a burden." "You're not a burden," Ethan said fiercely. "Stay here as long as you need." "I mean it." She looked at him, tears welling. "You were kind that night, too. You made me laugh when I thought I'd forgotten how." Ethan smiled faintly. "You made me laugh, too." That night meant something to me. They sat in silence, the weight of their shared past hanging between them. Eve picked up the spoon, her hands still trembling, and took a small bite. Ethan watched, his heart aching for the woman who'd once lit up a room, but now seemed so fragile. As Eve ate, the front door creaked open. Ethan's mother, Margaret, strode in, her sharp eyes scanning the room. She froze when she saw Eve, her expression hardening. "Ethan," she said, her voice icy, "who is this woman in my son's home?" Ethan stood, bracing himself. "Mom, this is Eve. I'm helping her. She's in a tough spot." Margaret's gaze flicked to Eve's pregnant belly, her lips curling. "Helping her? Or is there something you're not telling me? Is that child yours?" Ethan's heart stopped. He hadn't even considered the possibility. Not yet. Eve's eyes widened, but she stayed silent, her hands clutching the bowl. "Mom, no," Ethan said quickly. "I just met her again today. It's not like that." Margaret crossed her arms. "You expect me to believe you brought a pregnant stranger, into our home, out of nowhere? What about Sophia? Your fiancée will have your head if she finds out." Ethan's jaw tightened. "Let's not bring Sophia into this." "Oh, we will," Margaret snapped. "If you don't send this girl back to wherever she came from, I'll call Sophia myself. You know how she gets." Eve stood, her voice small but firm. "I'll go. I don't want trouble." "No," Ethan said, stepping between them. "You're staying. Mom, you taught me to help those in need. Remember the story you told me? About the stranger who took you and Dad in when you had nothing? This is no different." Margaret's face softened, but only slightly. She sighed, her voice low. "Fine, but she stays in the guest house out back. Not here. And if Sophia finds out, don't blame me for the storm that follows." The air was thick with tension as Margaret walked out. Ethan turned to Eve, who looked ready to bolt. "I'm sorry," he said. "She's just protective. You're not going anywhere." Eve nodded, but her eyes were distant. "It's okay. I'm used to people like her." That night, Ethan moved Eve to the guest house, a small but tidy space behind the main residence. As she settled in, she sat on the bed, staring at the wall. Ethan lingered by the door. "Are you sure you're okay here?" Eve gave a faint smile. "It's more than I've had in months." "Thank you, Ethan." He hesitated, then sat beside her. "What happened after that night, Eve? You don't have to tell me, but I want to understand." Her gaze dropped to her hands. "After the party, I went home to my sister, Lily. She was all I had, but she got sick, really sick. I spent everything I had on her treatments, but it wasn't enough. She died in my arms 4 months ago." Her voice cracked, and tears fell silently. "I lost everything after that. My job, my apartment, my hope. I've been surviving on the streets, begging, just to keep this baby alive." Ethan's chest tightened. "I'm so sorry, Eve. You didn't deserve that." She wiped her eyes. "I don't know why you're helping me, Ethan. Most people would have looked the other way." "Because I see you," he said softly. "I saw you that night, and I see you now. You're not invisible to me." Eve's lips quivered, and for the first time, she let herself lean into his kindness, her heart daring to hope. The next morning, Ethan was in his office when the door burst open. Sophia, his fiancée, stormed in, her designer heels clicking furiously. Her eyes blazed with accusation. "You've been dodging me for days, Ethan. And now I hear you've got some pregnant girl living in your guest house. What the hell is going on?" Ethan stood, his patience thin. "Sophia, it's not what you think. I'm helping someone who needs it. That's all. Helping," she scoffed. "You expect me to believe that? I'm not an idiot. I've already spent millions planning our wedding, and now you're playing savior to some street girl." "Wedding?" Ethan snapped. "I haven't even proposed to you, Sophia. You and my mother decided that on your own." Her face flushed. "Your mother promised me we'd be married. She signed a contract with my father, political alliances, Ethan. You can't just walk away from that." Ethan's eyes narrowed. "Watch me." Sophia laughed bitterly. "You're throwing away everything for her? Fine, but you'll regret this. I'll make sure of it." She stormed out, leaving Ethan with a sinking feeling that this was far from over. That evening, Ethan visited Eve in the guest house. She was folding a small pile of clothes he'd bought her, her movements slow and deliberate. He sat across from her, his mind still reeling from Sophia's outburst. Eve, he said gently, I need to ask you something. The baby, who's the father? She froze, her hands trembling. After a long pause, she met his gaze, her eyes filled with fear and guilt. Ethan, it's you. The room spun. Ethan's heart stopped. What? That night at the party, she whispered. It was you. I didn't have a boyfriend. I was scared to tell you because of your mother, your fiancée. I didn't want to ruin your life. But you've been so kind, and I couldn't keep lying. Ethan stared at her, his mind racing. Why didn't you tell me sooner? I was ashamed, she admitted, tears streaming down her face. I thought you'd hate me, but you took me in, cared for me, even when you didn't know the truth. I'm so sorry, Ethan. He reached for her hand, his voice soft but steady. Eve, I'm not angry. I felt it. Deep down, I knew. And I'm not going anywhere. Her eyes widened. You knew. Not for sure, he said, a small smile breaking through. But something told me. And now, I'm ready to be a father. For you. For our child. Eve sobbed, relief washing over her. For the first time in months, she felt safe, seen, and loved. Days later, Ethan returned home to find the guest house empty. Eve's belongings were gone. Panic gripped him as he rushed to the security guard. Where is she? The guard stammered. Miss Sophia came by, sir. She told Miss Eve to leave. I couldn't stop her. Ethan's blood boiled. He stormed into the main house, confronting his mother. You let Sophia chase Eve out? She's carrying my child, Mom. Margaret's face paled. Your child? Ethan, I didn't know. You didn't care, he snapped. You and Sophia have been plotting behind my back, using me for your own agendas. This ends now. Without another word, he grabbed his keys and drove into the night, searching for Eve. Hours later, he found her sitting on a park bench, clutching her bag, tears streaking her face. Eve, he called, running to her. I'm so sorry. Come with me. She looked up, her voice breaking. I didn't want to cause you more trouble. You're not trouble, he said, pulling her into his arms. You're my family. Ethan took Eve to a quiet, luxurious condo he owned across town. As they settled in, Eve turned to him, her expression serious. Ethan, there's something else I need to tell you. His heart braced for another shock. What is it? I'm not who you think I am, she said, her voice steady. My parents, they're alive, and they're wealthy. I left home to find something real, to escape the fake world of money and status. That's why I was at that party, dressed like I had nothing. I wanted to know if someone could love me for me. And then I met you. Ethan's jaw dropped. So you're rich. She nodded, tears in her eyes. I was going to get rid of the baby, but my mother stopped me. She said this child was a gift, a chance for something real. I didn't tell you because I needed to know you cared for me, not my family's money. Ethan laughed, shaking his head. Eve, I was trying to save you, and you could probably buy this whole city. She smiled through her tears. But you gave me something money can't buy, your heart. Weeks later, Ethan and Eve married in a small, heartfelt ceremony, surrounded by her parents and a few close friends. They moved into a new home, a place filled with love and laughter. When their son, Noah, was born, Ethan held him, tears in his eyes, knowing this tiny life had brought them together. One evening, as Eve rocked Noah to sleep, Ethan wrapped his arms around them. If someone told me that night at the party would lead to this, I'd have called them crazy, he said. Eve smiled. And if someone told me the man who made me laugh would become my home, I'd have never believed it. But here we are. Their story wasn't perfect, but it was theirs, a tapestry of chance, courage, and love that defied all odds. Wow, what a journey! From a chance encounter to a love that overcame lies, betrayal, and heartbreak. This story reminds us that sometimes the most unexpected moments lead to the greatest blessings. What did you take away from Ethan and Eve's story? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. We can't wait to hear them. If this tale touched your heart, give us a thumbs up, share it with someone who needs a little hope today, and hit that subscribe button with the bell so you never miss our next emotional adventure. Thank you for watching, and remember, love finds a way, even in the darkest moments. See you in the next video.